Brett Martinez, thanks for joining me today. You are literally my third ever guest on anything social that we've done. I appreciate that greatly. I was really saving you for like number 10 when I have just a bit more experience at this, but I'm glad you agreed to join me today.
Well, you look all professional. You got the microphone and all that, so you don't need to tell anybody it's only your third. As far as we're concerned, you do this on the side professionally.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have to say, I just want to give a shout out to you. Without you, I would not be here. Alliance Reverse Mortgage would not be here. We may be, but we certainly wouldn't be in the context that we are, where we serve credit unions. And the other thing that we do is we serve at a level like you would expect. And I think a lot of that comes from, by virtue, and I've said this before, by virtue of osmosis, from being in this building and being around you and all of your team. You know how to do it and do it really well. Thank you. So you and I, we just celebrated our 17th year of partnership. It flew by. I need to go back 17 years and hopefully...
I kind of feel like we're married right now, so okay, go ahead.
Longer than most marriages.
I'm absorbing here.
I want to ask you, what prompted you to want to provide reverse mortgage to your members? 17 years ago, reverse mortgage wasn't even in a typical credit union's vocabulary. It still isn't, but it especially wasn't 17 years ago. What was that moment that made you decide, I want to offer this?
I remember meeting you for the first time very distinctly. But so I had actually, before I met you, I had this vision of I call it creating a better mousetrap. When something's broken, there's an opportunity for credit unions to come in and kind of do it right. And I always felt that reverse mortgage had a lot of potential, but there was a lot of bad actors out there and taking advantage of people. You know, if you stay up too late, I don't sleep. So if you stay up too late and you're watching TV, you see all these commercials and stuff. And there was this victim preying on people, and they get actors to go tell people that they need to do these reverse mortgages. And I had seen a lot of horror stories, and I had been spending some time trying to figure out how to build a better mousetrap and talking to my team, and I had done my own stuff, and it seemed like it would be relatively easy to provide something where people weren't getting ripped off, that they could trust. And I believe in the product at the same time. And then you walked in the door and we went into the boardroom, and I think the reason I took the appointment was because I had been thinking about this, but then right there in that moment, I know credit union people. I know what they look like. I know how they act. And I'm like, this guy belongs in credit unions. Like, this is insane. I don't need to build this thing. It's already built. And this guy is exactly who needs to be running this thing. And like, wow, this is amazing. So we made the decision right then and there. The decision was, I don't need to do this. Like, I already got this guy, and he can focus in on this. And literally, he belongs in the credit union system. The credit union system will be better for having you in it. And we made the decision that day. Pretty easy decision.
I remember that day well. I had no idea who you were, really, truly. I had no idea what Redwood Credit Union was about. I had no idea what the credit union world was about. But that day, when we were done presenting, you said, and I'm confident you remember this because I've probably reminded you a time or two over the years, but you said, hey, Ron, we're excited to serve a lot of our members with this reverse mortgage program. And I replied with, Brett, this is 1/10 of 1% of originations. And even that's an exaggeration. We're not going to serve a lot of members. And at this point, you're standing up, you got those brown piercing eyes, you're pointing your finger at me, and you said, if I serve just one member, I've done my job. And then you turned and walked away. And that left me thinking, oh, crap, is this good or bad? This is good. You want someone that thinks like that. In this same realm, what made you decide that Alliance would be the one? And I asked because we were brand new to the reverse mortgage space as well. We'd only been doing it for a year when we came and chatted with you about it.
Well, it was you.
Okay. Wow.
The reverse mortgage space was broken. It needed to be reinvented, and it needed somebody like you to do it. And when I just listened to you, we were going to do it ourselves. And it was very clear that day we didn't need to do that, because not only, and that was important back then, but it's not as important today. You were actually in our community. So it wasn't just that, like, there's this guy in our community. I don't need to build this. Let's just partner. Man, it was an easy answer. I've told you this, and I know you don't like it, so I apologize, but you're asking me questions. So I've got a lot of great friends, and probably several of them are going to be watching this. You are literally the nicest guy I've ever met in my life. And I've got a lot of very cool, nice people, but you are far and above anything I've ever seen. Trying to help people in our community. I pride myself on that, but your individual stories that you have, and I've heard a lot of them because you're serving our members, is off the charts. And you make me a better person just by trying to keep up with you a little bit.
Wow. Thank you. That's super humbling. I appreciate that, because I look at what you do and the scale in comparison is nothing to what you managed to achieve. But
we've already been dating for 17 years, evidently, so we don't need to, we don't need to humble each other.
Those words, they truly mean a lot coming from you, so I appreciate that. Redwood has always been committed to meeting members' needs at a level that is extraordinary. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
How do you feel that Alliance fits into that?
We do an amazing job every day with every member. You probably outperform us. You're not dealing in the volumes that we're dealing with, so I get that. But individually, and that's what was broken in the reverse mortgage system. You take personally every single member of ours and any other credit unions. You take it personal, and you make sure all the bad things that happen in reverse mortgage don't happen to these people. You're not trying to close a loan. You're trying to help them. You counsel their family. You include everybody. And you can close way more loans really quick. You don't do that. You slow down, make sure everybody's on board. And then when there's speed needed because there's some crazy stuff going on, you step in and you put food in people's refrigerators, and you go to their house and turn on their thermostats for them that they don't understand, and you fix leaky roofs while you're working on the loan because there's an urgent situations going on. It's one person at a time, one solution at a time. We couldn't do it any better than you do. So partners for life.
Thank you. We say we're changing members' lives one member at a time, and that's truly what we do. A year into this partnership, I had a call from your COO at that time, Ann Benjamin, and she says to me, "Hey, Brett would like you and your team to move into our building." And I remember thinking, well, I don't want to move. I love where I am. And I'd never even seen this end of the building, but I had to say, cordially, yes, okay, I'll come look. And I came down and I looked, and it's small compared to where we were. And we went back to Ann's office, and I sat in the round table with Ann, and I had my hands on top of the table, and Ann said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Thank you for the consideration, but I don't think it's going to work out." And of course, Ann put her hand on top of mine and simply said, "This is where you want to be."
Yeah.
And she didn't say another word. And I knew the first person that spoke was going to lose. So I didn't say another word. And then it got awkward. And then I said, "Okay, great. Well, thank you. We'll move in." What made you decide to have us be in your building?
Well, there's a difference between partnership and a vendor. I like partnerships, so being a vendor of somebody, and to me, there's a huge difference. When we moved into this building, I had this vision of the mall, which is right outside your door, and different stores within the mall. And if we were going to truly partner with you, I felt that this would be a great store in the mall. Whether people are members or not members really didn't matter. It's just them having a place that they can go to and trust. And there's other services available to them in this mall. I think timing was good because we were talking to you when we were moving into this building and had this vision. And it made sense. And hopefully you like the final decision that you made. I think it worked out extremely well. I get a picture from you every time we have a new hire orientation because they go through your office and get to meet you with every new employee in the organization. And you take selfies. You're way better at selfies than I am. You take selfies with them and forward it. I don't know if our employees understand you're actually a separate entity as far as we're concerned. You're part of the family.
Well, I appreciate that. I like people. I love being in this building. This building is truly part of my family now. I mean, literally part of my family. So being here, my team loves everybody in the building, but we love everybody in all of the credit unions that we partner with as well. So the way we treat your members is the way we treat members everywhere.
No doubt. You couldn't do the opposite of what you do. So that's impossible for you.
What has surprised you the most about our partnership so far? Is there anything?
Yeah, probably a couple things. First of all, the level. I mean, I knew that day that you belong in credit unions, but the level at which you serve and the attention you take and the complete opposite you were from what I was trying to build a better mousetrap for is a little mind-blowing when you hear the individual stories. But I think the other thing is that you know the industry more than I do, and the trends and the ebbs and flows. But I think I did say, our members will appreciate this product. And you said, well, it's only going to be 1/10 of the volume. It's really where this has come from. So I don't know that how many of our members know that we do reverse mortgages, even though it's on our website and we market it. The reality is this is a tool. This is an amazing tool. When we have members that are struggling, so whether it's from our financial assistance, AKA collection area, or a branch is having a conversation, or lending, somebody's trying to borrow money and these are referrals. Our employees that understand these are referrals and their solutions and the tool belt that we wouldn't have if you weren't here to help people out of the situations they're in. And if nothing else, that tool is everything. If you really want to have social impact, you want to help your members, it's not a marketing thing. I mean, I think we could do a better job and there could be more. There's a lot of people that don't know we do it, but our team identifies these people one at a time. And these are pretty tricky situations that this is the only solution available. And you figure out how to help these people in all kinds of different situations, whether it's like really bad, like they've got nothing, right? They're living on nothing, to they just don't want to be married to their house, but they love their house. They want to stay in their house and they want to travel. I mean, it's and everything in between. And so probably how great of a tool it was versus just people coming in saying, hey, I'm looking for a reverse mortgage. That doesn't happen as much as our team sends people to you. Number one, they know that they're going to get taken care of, but there's no other solution in our tool belt for these people. And it saves us charge-offs. It saves us, it's our brand. Our members love us more because of what you do. The ramifications are huge, and the stories, the social impact stories, and how proud our team is when you're able to help us with somebody that in a pretty bad situation. Life-changing stuff.
It is life-changing. One of the things we are seeing more today is the member just across. We can almost see her condo complex from this building. She just wants $500 a month. She said, I talked to her on the phone yesterday. She says, I just want $500 a month. I want to go out to dinner when I want to go out to dinner or brunch with my girlfriends, and I don't want to have to worry about it. So it's amazing how $500 a month can have such an impact on one's livelihood. She's 78 years old. She just wants to enjoy while she can, and we can help her with that. If you could go back to the beginning of our partnership, is there anything that you would want to have done differently?
Not really. I mean, I kind of mentioned that always done a better job at marketing it broadly and getting people to understand that this is a product. But at the same time, the ones that we're sending to you, truly people that need it. So I think volume could have even been stronger, but totally happy with tool in our toolbox and how it works and how we're able to help people. So not really. You can always do better, but this is pretty cool.
Thank you. And I think we do serve those members in a way that changes their lives. We may not hit everyone. More often than not, that member is actually coming to us with a package that they got somewhere else in the very beginning. They started inquiring around, and we look at what those rates and fees are compared to what ours are, and then that level of service we're able to provide the member. I think that's really where the member benefit comes in.
I'm going to make a broad statement that's a bold statement because I clearly don't know every single situation there is, but I'm very confident that every member that gets a reverse mortgage not with you is a bad situation. And probably, if I had a regret, shame on us for letting our members get a reverse mortgage somewhere else, because it's not going to be a good situation for them. There's a lot of people out there taking advantage of people, so that kind of, if I were to do something different, make people understand. At the same time, anybody that's in credit unions, we're frustrated because they didn't know we do mortgages, and they don't know we do auto loans, and they didn't know we had credit cards. So, that's our core business, our member business loan. I didn't know you do business. So it's just one more thing. But I think that's the way I think about things, is every single person that went somewhere else, it's like, that's bad. And we probably could have done more to try and make that not happen.
Well, however I can help with that, I'm certainly willing. I think when I look back 17 years ago, you talk about members not knowing about product. I definitely, when I talk to my friends, they're more aware of what the credit union offers, the business lending side of things, business banking, mortgages, insurance services, 17 years ago, they just thought it was a place to have a checking and savings account. As you can imagine, I'm a big proponent of getting friends moving from other institutions to a credit union. Brett, we struggle every single day trying to get credit unions to understand the importance of this, and more so the ease of partnering with us on this. I've been with you when you introduced me to a CEO and she replied with, "Oh, that's not something our members would need." And I won't tell you what you said, but I turned and walked away at that point. Why do you suppose we struggle getting the message across to credit unions of the importance of providing this product for their members? And I want to go just one more. I think of a credit union in particular where I was with the CEO and her team. We chatted and she says, "I just don't know how this would fit into our business." And I replied with, "But I can rent a rental car from your website."
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. There's no board, there's no board out there asking a CEO or a management team, "So how many reverse mortgages did you do?" And these are all off balance sheet situations. So it's not, if you're looking at it that way, nobody's asking. There's no pressure. There's lots of goals. And so what was my biggest learning? My biggest learning that you asked me was that it wasn't people coming in looking for reverse mortgages. It was our team having a tool in the toolbox that they didn't have, which is saving us from charge-offs and losses and members that are struggling, and it's enhancing our brand and all of those types of things. So I probably didn't see that 17 years ago. So where our success came from and how this ended up being, if you're looking at it from, members walking in the door and asking you for a reverse mortgage and it's not on balance sheet, and of course not. But if you see it from a social impact, helping members, helping your collections department, your lending people, your branches that have these people that are struggling and they've got nowhere to send them, and realizing that if you send one of your members to one of the alternatives, the ramifications to them, but can actually be back on the credit union because you're dealing with these people's issues. So I get it, but if they look at it, the board does care about service levels. The board does care about charge-offs and all of those types of things, and brand, how people perceive the credit union. So I think people understand the true value. And what is there to, is all you got to do is tell you yes. It's not like you're doing a conversion and all this work. It's the easiest thing ever. Yes, I want to help my members that may need this product. And you come in and do some training with their team to identify what those people might look like. So you do 3 a year. You just help 3 people with no effort.
I like to take your words. If I can serve just one of your members, I've done my job. And right now, if a member calls a call center and says, "Hey, I'm interested in reverse mortgage," do you know what the call center says? If they don't have a partner, Google it. Yeah. Can you imagine sending an 83-year-old woman whose husband just passed off to Google to find a reverse mortgage?
But I guess my argument is, if nobody ever calls and ever asks you for a reverse mortgage because they don't think that you even have it, is an amazing tool in the tool belt for your team to help your existing members that have no other options.
I would agree. I would also say that the first call that someone makes for a reverse mortgage is probably to their trusted credit union. If they are a credit union member, they're calling the credit union to ask because they trust them.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So I love hearing your stories. I've heard quite a few of them over the years, but I don't think I've ever asked you, what is your most memorable story around helping somebody that sticks in your mind? What's the first thing that pops out? A little bit of detail on what that story is. And don't get emotional. Don't cry while you're doing it.
There's probably 100 that just popped in my head, but one in particular, and this came from your financial assistance department, aka collections department. There's some members in Santa Rosa who were strapped for cash, having a hard time making their payment. And of course, the last thing that anyone wants to do is foreclose on someone. So they had a conversation with the husband, and he agreed to talk to his wife and to look into reverse mortgage. And he gave me a call, and we reviewed the calculations, and he said, "I think this would work, but I have to tell you, my wife has a lot of things." I said, "Well, when you say a lot of things," he goes, "Well, she's basically a hoarder." And this is the first time I've ever experienced that. And I was like, "When you say a hoarder," he's all like the TV show. I'm like, okay. So we had gone to the house, and it turns out that she had, and I might be wrong on saying this, but COPD. She had a breathing disorder and had to use an oxygen tank. Well, the house was filled with boxes and memorabilia, and you couldn't walk anywhere. The path into their bedroom was literally like this narrow, and there was boxes stacked up on the wall. Well, when you pulled the boxes off the wall, it was moldy. So basically all of this stuff had turned to molds. The house was filled with mold. The outside of the house was in disrepair. We really didn't know if we could do a reverse mortgage for them or not, but we knew we had to help them. So we contacted a hoarding service. Those actually exist. And they went in the course of a few weeks, they helped the members to clear their house out and sell the things they wanted to sell and get organized. And then the bathroom floor was not level. It was sinking and the kitchen was in disrepair. So we had a contractor go in and we guaranteed payment to the people. We didn't, again, know if we'd be able to do the reverse or not. And we got the house livable for them. I'm telling you the light side of the entire story, but in the end, we were able to do a reverse mortgage for them. They had a house that was clean and tidy, and they were able to keep it that way, and they were able to live comfortably. That's one that really stands out. And another one that stands out, this one, I know you've heard this story. This happened in the pouring rain. One of our reverse mortgage specialists went to the member's house because the member said it was raining inside. And she called me and said, "Hey, Ron, it's raining in the house. We need a contractor to tarp the roof." So we got the roof tarped. And as Jill's leaving, the woman has no food in her house and she has no money. So, we went to Safeway, got her some food and some Safeway gift cards. And in the end, we were able to fix her roof, get her a reverse mortgage and get her food and change her quality of life. That's really what it's all about. And I could go on and on with these stories, but that's what motivates me and my team, Brett, changing the lives like that.
Well, you do all these scenarios when you don't even know if you can do a reverse mortgage and if the money will ever even be there. You're committing your personal resources to make this stuff happen. So I think those two stories answer every question that you asked me. Why? Because of that.
When you partner with a credit union, I believe it's not a right. It's certainly a privilege. And I've learned this over my 17 years. And as a vendor partner with a credit union, your job is to go above and beyond for that credit union when you're serving that member. And if all vendor partners were like that, it would be, a different world. We've never had a member complain in 17 years, and we've never had a credit union stop doing business with us. And I never want a member to complain. I never want to be put in that position.
Doing business with you is the easiest no-brainer thing that there is. And it doesn't matter the volumes. There will be scenarios, life-changing scenarios. When the staff hears the stories, when they refer somebody to you, talk about job fulfillment and loving what they do and where they work and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the value is tremendous, even if you only have a couple of a year.
Oh, I appreciate that greatly. Yeah. I love the opportunity to serve your members, and I'm super grateful for all that you've done for Alliance Reverse Mortgage personally. I mean, partnering with us, inviting us in, letting us learn from you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you back.
And then I might say the way that you do things, I could only aspire to.
I don't know. It still feels like we're dating because I say the same thing.
Hey, thanks for taking the time to be on this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's great spending some time remembering the past 17 years. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you too, Brett. Thank you.
All right. Take care.